I'm going to go ahead and get started. My name is Ania McGrath. I am Communications and Program Manager at the Utah State Transit Office. So I work on all of our financial education initiatives, and I'm here to talk about investing and InvestEd and how to bring real-world investing to your students in your classrooms. So for a little icebreaker, I'm going to start off with a little fake scenario and see if you are an actual investor. So I'm going to need all of you to participate. For scenario one, you get $1,000, and would you so I'm going to raise a hand for whichever one that you would personally do. A, buy Apple stock, a stable tech giant. Can I get a show of hands on who would invest their $1,000 into Apple stock? Got 2, 3, couple over there. Okay, option B, buy Bitcoin, which is high risk, high reward. All right, we got one over here. Anyone else? Okay, and then option C, put it in a savings account. Just safe, predictable, you know where your money's going. Any takers? A couple over there? Awesome. So scenario 2, which is a little bit more volatile. So let's say that GameStop is trending again. This social media went viral, GameStop's trending again. Would you A, jump in fast before it climbs, which I think some of your students might have done. B, wait and do some research on the company, see how it's going. Or C, ignore it, it sounds like a fad. Sounds like it would be most people, probably the smart answer. But this is exactly what your students are seeing online. They're seeing stocks, cryptos, influencers, everyone's shouting buy now, do this now, it's really important to do this now. But students are rarely taught how to think like long-term investors, and when they get into the real world with real money, they don't know how to use it to their advantage, how to create stability and long-term financial independence. So we don't want to tell our students what to invest in, but we want to build those financial foundations and teach them how to think like an investor so that when they do go out in the real world, they feel confident in themselves and in the money that they're making to be able to create a life of stability and a life that they would like. So that segues into what the Utah Treasurer's Investment Challenge is. So this is a free program that the State Treasurer's Office puts on. It's for 4th through 12th grade students. And it is a simulation of Wall Street trading. So we provide a framework for teaching students about the U.S. economy and financial markets. Basically what it is we give a fake $100,000 in our platform, and your students are able to invest that over 10 weeks into whatever they want to invest it in. We do require diversification, researching trades and explaining why they're making the trades that they're making, or why they're selling the different trades that they bought. But it's a great way for students to learn how to critically think, understand the costs and benefits involved in economic decision makings, kind of see how investing works, and the different risks versus rewards or strategies that you can use when investing in a safe environment, so they aren't losing their real money, and it has a competitive element. 10 weeks they compete against different students in their division, and then the top 3 winners in each division are a banquet with the state treasurer there and some other government officials. So some key features about the program. One, we teach investment strategies. So participants learn about different investment strategies, diversification, risk management, and long-term planning. One thing to note, I think that investing can sound kind of daunting even, as a teacher, if you've never done it before, you're not personally familiar with it. In this program, you are able to go onto the platform, and there is a whole list of curriculum on there that you can follow along. There's quizzes, there's optional assignments, videos, different worksheets that you can print out, and different ideas for implementing it into your classroom. So it really takes out the work and the stress of you having to come up with it all on your own. It's there to be a resource for you. And it's also for investing. So the program is for investing, but on the platform, the curriculum that's included includes personal finance, economics, budgeting, family finance, just a whole slew of info there that you can use even outside of the 10-week session. There's also a segment on the app that has portfolio research and tracking. So your students are able to go on and do real-time portfolio tracking. So one, they can see their portfolio and other people's portfolios going up and down, so they can kind of see their leaderboard and bring some of that competitive element. But then they can also research different stocks, different companies on that platform itself, so they can learn how to, again, think like an investor, do their research, make smart, informed decisions about using their money. So a few implementation plans. There's a few ways to bring it into your classroom and make it your own. You guys can get creative with it. You don't have to follow this, but here's some good ideas. So a lot of our teachers, they do student collaboration. They create teams of students, of 3 to 5 students, and they have them work on it. So usually they'll start off with a lesson on investing and then kind of give free rein to the students. They can go in, they can practice, they can make trades outside of school, outside of class hours, and then come back together in the classroom and talk about it, just promoting collaboration, working as a team, different ideas and thought perspectives. Another idea is doing self-guided, which kind of ties into what I was just saying. You can use 5 minutes a day in the beginning of the classroom, at the end of the classroom, maybe you can even do it once a week, and just give them a focus time where they can go online. It's a structured environment where they can go and do their research and make their trades and check on their stocks. You can do it by the book, leading your classroom instruction yourself, using our guided assignments, your own guided assignments, but really just like holding the hand of your students and walking them through what investing is, what's diversification, how to do risk management. You can use the videos provided in the Learning Center and then structure the learning blocks how you would like to. And then another idea is case studies on the Stock Track platform that we use. There's a lot of ideas on how you can use it, and this might take a little bit away from the challenge aspect, but you can provide different case studies for the teams that, you can give them a simulation of you're working on this as this company for this big financial wealth firm, or you're investing for a person, a 55-year-old woman who's getting ready to retire soon. What would you do? So those are really great ways to implement it, especially if you've already done an investing session with your students and you want to dive a little bit deeper and get a little bit more critical thinking. So here is a screenshot of what the app looks like, and I'm just going to go through a quick demo on what the platform looks like and how you would use it as a teacher. Awesome. So when you log in, this is the dashboard, and you'll have a slightly different view than your students, but one really cool thing that we included in the platform is when students are making trades, they have to write why they're making trades. We don't want them to be just putting $100,000 into Apple or GameStop or Tesla, right? We want them to really diversify their portfolio, really think about why they're making the trades that they are. So they have to write a little quote or reasoning why they're investing what they're investing, and that's something that you can see on your end. Here is the dashboard that everyone can see when they're logged in. So students will have their own login. They'll be able to see open positions, closed positions. This is from last year, so it's not a current one, but it shows their rankings, how many trades have been made, their cash balance, their return, and then there's different open positions of different companies and gives a brief overview of what they are. And if you click on them, it'll give you an in-depth explanation of all of the companies. It'll have all of the market headlines and news about those companies, just anything that you would need to make an informed decision. A market snapshot, which is really important. And then here in the portfolio simulation, it'll have all that's on the dashboard, and then also tutorial videos. So you can use them, or your students can use them as well. So it's really customizable to the way that you want, and it's just here as a resource for you. investing research. You're able to look at the different economic rates, different currencies, top performing ETFs. You can do a symbol lookup, stock and fund quotes, everything that you would need. Again, if you're starting off as a beginner, we've had, as I said, it's for 4th through 12th grade students, and we've had some 4th graders learning this, and they are so competent. They are better than me in investing. It's incredible how smart and bright they are. In here, we've got the Learning Center. So again, we've got personal finance, investing, economics, a glossary, and then Learning Center on business. So I'll just click on this and you can see an idea of some of the different topics they have. They have it for elementary students up until high school and even college learning levels, so you're really able to customize it the way that you want. And then over here, this is only seen from the teacher's end, and you can see the summary file, registration, the ranking reports, and then you can do an activity report, so you can see all the trades that they're making and have it all in an organized fashion. And then how to register. So when you're registering, you can register for free. It's completely free. The fall course is going to be from September 7th through November 14th. And you're welcome to register and then continue to use the resources all throughout the year. So the resources there won't end. That 10-week period is only for making trades. So if you sign up beforehand, you can learn how to use it. If you continue on afterward, you can still use all of the curriculum that's on there, use the assignments, download the different worksheets, all of that stuff. And I also wanted to open up for any questions that you guys may have about investing, about using it into your curriculum, anything like that. And I finished a little bit early because we're gonna have lunch, so they wanted me to wrap it up.
Tell us about the banquet.
Oh, yeah, of course. So at the end of the 10 weeks, we host a banquet by the Utah State Treasurer and the Utah Financial Empowerment Coalition. So the top 3 teams that win, they bring their parents, their school faculty, so their teachers, and the principal or school administrator. And we host them in downtown Salt Lake City. And we bring them lunch, or we have a catered lunch. We bring in a keynote speaker from one of our sponsors. One of our sponsors is Wasatch Global Investors. They've got a lot of really great people that work there and a lot of really great advice, especially for high school students who are kind of gearing up into going to college or looking for a job after school and looking to get into the finance or business world. They're a great resource for that. And then the students they all have a 3 to 5 minute speech that they give, which is really, really cool to see. And then I think for the teachers, it's really rewarding to see the students thriving and talking about investing in front of all of the people in the investing world. So we have the Utah Department of Financial Institutions attend, Fidelity Investments, one of our sponsors, and then the Wasatch Global Investors as well that come. We also give them My 529 gift certificates because we know that this is a 10-week course. It's not real. When you're investing in the real world, you want compound interest and you want that time to invest and have your money grow. While this isn't necessarily, we can't get a whole lifetime of investing in these 10 weeks. We can teach the financial, foundations, and then with the My 529 gift certificate, that can compound for their financial or for their education expenses. Yeah?
I've always just played the game with them, and then I'm showing that. Where do you see records and different things to look at about all the teams?
Yeah, that's
Is it a different website because I just use the
Yeah, so it'll be on the, to see the other teams' rankings. Is that what you're
Well,
asking?
I'm saying I just use one of these and play along with them, so when I'm
Okay.
writing them, I'm doing the same thing, but you said you can go see reports about all the people
Mhm.
as a team, as a teacher. How do you see that?
Yeah, so when you register, we have the teachers register, the students don't register themselves, and then you add how many students that you would like to have on your team or have in your classroom. And so when you're on that, you will have like an admin section right here, and then you can always go back to my dashboard, but I'll press, it should be the reports section. So you should be able to go to the ranking reports.
So is that just the ranking of the whole state?
No, it should. When
I
you
see that, I already see that, so.
yeah, when you have the teacher, I have like an admin because I do the administration for the whole thing. But when you do have a teacher one, it should be on this section, and you should be able to see, you know, your user summary report, which is only yours. You can't see the registration info for all the other teachers. And then you can also do like a create a custom report, see how your teachers work. But I do teacher trainings throughout the summer. If you wanted to meet one-on-one with me, I'm happy to like walk you through it.
So it's just that dashboard, right? Just pull it down.
There
But-
must be an admin. one.
Yes.
I'm just using a regular.
So you have to make sure you register with her as the teacher. And you get access
Well, I
to
probably had that, I just,
Yeah, didn't know.
as we change the stock market name, it's just like,
Yeah.
go.
So what I did sometimes, if my students were trading a lot, I would pull them aside and say, hey, we're not trying to teach day trading here. What's going on? You know, if they've only made a couple of trades, then I'd pull them aside and say, hey, what's going on? Like, how's our research going? Like, do you have any high conviction ideas? And so, like, using the reports in your teaching is really helpful.
Yeah.
I have a question as far as timing. Not all schools are on the same semester or trimester or different term lengths.
Mm-hmm.
So you said there's a session that goes from September 7th to November 14th. So we need to register sometime before then and get our students started. Within the first 5 weeks, they have to make their first trade.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So
within the
I
first-
feel like potentially, like if that overlaps between two different groups of students, I could get groups started and then have them leave my class and then
And get another group.
set of students.
Yeah, you can for sure do that. And then
Around the same time.
yeah, and we're also pretty flexible. So if if you have like a classroom that starts a little bit later, I can always work with you. You can reach out to me and see how we can make it work for you. But you can definitely register both classes, especially if one of them's going to be a little bit after the 5 weeks. You can just reach out to me and I can extend the registration length. We just want this to work for you guys. The resource is totally for you guys. So if it doesn't work or if there's something that you think that could work better for you, I'm happy to make changes and adjustments.
What criteria do you use to determine the rankings? Is it just simply the value of your account or the return on the account, or do you incorporate how many trades the students are making, how active they are?
Yeah, it's about how their portfolio returns and how much money they make at the end. We do have rules in place for every single person, so they have to make a certain amount of trades. They can't put it all into one stock. So that kind of evens out the playing field, but at the end, it's just what their portfolio return was. And we do require that it has to be a different teacher. So if you have if you're one teacher and you have like 3 teams win in the top 3, we do only take one winner from each teacher. So we've had that before in the past, just to make it fair and
Tell us, like, which
diversify.
2 or 3 schools, high schools, have a lot of winners.
Cole Kelly's classroom oftentimes wins. He's won the past couple years. Tooele Junior High has won the past like 2 years. Diane Bay has brought a lot of people. And then for the other high school ones, we've had Sid Lott's class from Skyline has won. He didn't win this last year, but he won the past couple years. But this past year, we've gotten some different ones that I've never seen before, different teachers. So we've gotten a lot of great involvement from the South and some of the rural areas, which is really great to see. Yeah.
Shouldn't the purchase price for advanced day trading be higher than $5?
Oh, the commission?
The commission.
That's a great question. We set the rules based on some of our sponsors' like ideas and suggestions, but we're happy to work with you if you think that's.
And teachers, we have with teachers. So teacher feedback is really important.
Mhm.
So if you have a suggestion on the role, we're happy to.
Yeah, if you guys feel like the commission of $10 would prohibit some day trading, just let
I think honestly, when they have $100,000 to spend, whether it's $5 tuition or $10 tuition, probably doesn't make a difference. I think, I mean, if the students are engaged and looking day to day, I think that's a good thing. Whether they're selling or holding or whatever, if they're in it, that's what matters to me.
And I'll echo that. So he just said, sometimes day trading is the best lesson because they learn if they trade too much that they're not good at it. It's like hard to beat the market, right, in an index fund or whatever. So sometimes that's a good takeaway.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. We've had some students who have won or who almost won and then came back the next semester and did win that session. And said that, you know, they put all their money or a lot of their money into this and then it just tanked. So it does give some good lessons about how the market's working in today's world and stuff like that. Yeah?
So most of the ones that are winning first place, are they short selling all through? Or are they actually
Going long.
Yeah.
Not all of them. I'd say it's like a mix. It depends on like also the grade level that they're in because some of the high school boys like to sell them all.
We had a team last year that made a purchase the first day and then didn't touch it until the end of the game and ended up taking first or second place.
Mm-hmm.
So there are examples like that, but pretty good mix of students, strategies.
Yeah, and it's cool at the banquet to hear the different student strategies because they all talk about it and how they worked on it. So we've got some people who, you know, like her, just like she was saying, just bought it once and left it. People who are really invested in look at their stocks every single day. So it's a cool way to kind of see how other students are doing it and how other teachers are doing it and see how you would adjust or implement that. Any other questions or, yeah?
Do you have any other benchmarks up there so we're competing against, like the S&P 500 or a couple of other indexes? And of all those students that are competing, it looks more like day trading, which most of them shouldn't be doing. How many of them actually win and how many of them lose?
So we get a lot of students who participate, a lot of teams. This one is from the elementary, which is, you know, we get the most participants from middle and high school students. And when it is going, there is the S&P 500 on here. Since this is not current, it's not on there currently. And then with the day trading, it just depends on, you know, the students. We've got, last year we had about 6,000 or 7,000 students who participated. So I don't have data for every single
one. How many of those beat the market? How many of them actually made money in that time frame?
I don't have the exact numbers, but I can get them to you for sure. A lot of them do make money, and a lot of them, especially like the top, I'd say like 20 teams, are all pretty close in the rankings.
For an example, I had a student turn 100,000 into 3.1 million when GameStop was happening, right? So the meme stocks, right, and Reddit, like your students that get into it. But then we had a good discussion about what's the real value of GameStop and what was happening to that stock.
Yeah, the GameStop one is a great example, and really plays into, you know, using social media. Kids, that's their life nowadays, and so they get a lot of their information from there. So how can they make informed decisions without falling into the buy now or the gimmicks and day trading, stuff like that. So I'm going to put the registration link back up here. It links to our treasurer's website. And then, yeah, if you guys have any other questions or feedback or, you know, ways that you can implement it into your classroom, maybe with different dates or stuff like that, please reach out to me. This resource is for you guys, so I'm happy to make it fit for you guys.
So there is some features we're not using a lot. If you're in a more rural area, your students can trade commodities. So like pork bellies or cows, grains. Yeah, so So you can target it to where you're teaching and what your students know.
Awesome. Any other questions before we wrap it up? Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. If you guys have any questions, feel free to find me after and come chat with me. I appreciate you guys.